Welcome to another episode of Foreign Insight Podcast with your host, Maddox. Like, share, subscribe, man. We got a few UK, man. And thanks to everybody out there who's supporting my YouTube channel. Please hit the like button when you come and watch the video. It helped me get into the algorithm. Comment. I'm not afraid of conversation, man. I will respond back to comments. Like, I don't do none of that bougie stuff at all. But thank you, man. Right now, we at 3K at this moment. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Everyone is still going crazy about this Puerto Rico joke. Not a Puerto Rican, but a Puerto Rico trash crisis joke that went over people's head at the garden. Some people got offended by it. Some people didn't get offended by it. And that's all cool, I guess. If you get offended by it or you don't get offended by it. But my point is, it's jokes, right? It don't make this guy racist because of a joke. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And the left-wing media try to spin it and try to say, Trump supports a racist comedian because he made a joke. But meanwhile, the same left-wing media don't call George Lopez racist when he made a joke about Latinos not marrying black people and called a black woman a bitch. But they still hired him for their rally. So if Trump is responsible for a comedian that he didn't book, but it was at his rally, fine. If y'all saying he's racist for having that comedian on his platform, then by that logic, the Democrats will be racist for allowing a comedian like George Lopez to call a black woman a B. Now, his joke was saying that Latinos, they have a rule. And one of their rules are don't marry a black person. It's true to what he's saying. Some people think this way. I think the joke is fine. It was funny. He's a comedian. I'm not offended by it, and I'm black. Right? Well, we get past that. Now, it's this guy on Instagram. I think his name is Rigo Star or something like that. If I butcher your name, I'm sorry, brother. But I'm gonna review his video because he's a gay comedian. No, a comedian. A gay Puerto Rican influencer, right? That has a TikTok, Instagram, things like that. And he lives in Puerto Rico himself. And let's look at what he says about the joke, and does it have truth to it? And he lives in Puerto Rico. Let's just watch it. I'm sorry, I'm back. So, matter of fact, I had a little technical difficulties, but now I'm back. Let's get into the video. Let's see what the Puerto Rican guy who lives in Puerto Rico have to say about this joke and the trash crisis in Puerto Rico and Trump. Let's see what he has to say.
What happened on Sunday. Sunday, President Trump held his last rally at MAGA Square Garden. A sold-out crowd of over 20,000 people. The ceremony started out absolutely beautiful with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a beautiful rendition of the national anthem by this diva right here. And despite what you heard in the media, President Trump had Jewish speakers, black speakers, Indian speakers, and Latinos in the audience. Oh, Tony. The night was completely overshadowed by a horrible joke told by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, host of the #1 podcast in the world, Kill Tony. Those of you who don't know Tony, he is a roast comedian. I actually saw him on the Tom Brady roast and thought he was hilarious. However, the joke that he made on Sunday was just completely out of line and out of place for the event, especially standing in front of a sign that says Trump Vans. Gotten numerous DMs since the incident happened asking me, Rigo, were you offended by the joke? And the answer is no, I wasn't offended by the joke, but I thought the joke was in bad taste due to the nature of the event. Wrong place, wrong time for Trump. However, for Kamala Harris, it was perfect timing. And now I want to play a game of what are the odds? What are the odds that at the same time Tony was on stage Kamala Harris was in a Puerto Rican restaurant in Philadelphia. What are the odds that 10 minutes after the joke was made and the news ran with it, Kamala posted a plan for Puerto Rico? What are the odds? Not only did she have a plan for Puerto Rico, she had a professional made video ready to go. What are the odds? What are
Wow.
the odds that Bad Bunny had her video ready to go and posted it on his Instagram within an hour of Tony making the joke? What are the odds? And what are the odds that both Tony and Benito have the same management team? What are the odds? So you mean to tell me that at the same time Kamala Harris was in a Puerto Rican restaurant, Tony also made that joke that he knew Puerto Ricans would get pissed off about, especially since he says he's visited here many times. He should know how proud Puerto Ricans are of living in Puerto Rico. What are the odds that 10 minutes after that, Kamala Harris has a plan for Puerto Rico backed up by Bad Bunny, who has the same management as Tony Hinchcliffe? What are the motherfucking odds?
That's strange. Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. It just seems something. I don't know. I don't know. Let's continue.
It's either Kamala Harris has the luck of the Irish or no, Tony. Puerto Rico is not an island of garbage floating in the middle of the ocean. However, we are a beautiful island with a garbage problem. Oh, yeah, see, all that anger you're trying to direct towards Donald Trump, it needs to be directed towards the government of Puerto Rico. Because this problem right here, there was money given to this problem and the money disappeared.
Wow. Wow. Do y'all see the narrative that the left trying to spin it? And this Puerto Rican who lives in Puerto Rico is telling you that it's a trash problem, a trash crisis. So Tony joke might offend people, but it's truth to the joke. You can name a joke and somebody will always be offended by a joke. But let's continue.
You want to blame Trump for that? EPA sues Puerto Rico City over landfill overflow. The agency is asking a federal judge to order Toa Alta to address the ongoing environmental threats posed by overflowing its landfill. Trash crisis leaves Puerto Rico near the brink. Most of Puerto Rico landfills fail to meet federal standards and are almost full. Residents and experts worry that trash will soon overwhelm the region. You want to blame Trump for that too? Then Mark Anthony had this to say: I am here to tell you that even though some have forgotten, I remember what it was like when Trump was president. I remember what he did and said about Puerto Rico, about our people, mi gente latina. I remember after Hurricane Maria devastated our island, Trump blocked billions in relief while thousands died. That's a motherfucking lie, okay? Because Trump actually gave us $40 billion to rebuild our power grid system. And guess what? The light here still goes out 7 years later.
Wow.
40 billion people, 40 billion. But did you forget, Mark Anthony, about all the supplies that the Democratic Party here withheld from the people and kept in warehouses found months after the hurricane? Let me remind you.
Don't you just love facts? Don't you just love facts? Facts are not on any one side. Facts are just facts. You can side with the facts, but facts not on your side. You can side with the facts. I just love facts. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
See, people are so full of shit and they're Puerto Rican when it benefits them, but when it comes to the everyday struggles that we have to deal with here, crickets. Crickets, okay? And for this one right here to come out yesterday, I'm so disappointed as a Puerto Rican. A who? A who? Let me check you real fast.
I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. Oh, how quickly you forgot that you're not Puerto Rican.
Let's correct that. Slave owners. Say it right. Don't say slave holders. Slave owners. Say that right, Sonny Holson.
I find it funny that people have selective outrage. Because if a bad joke pisses you off that much, then this should absolutely infuriate you. Where y'all at? Where are you guys at with this? See, the schools in Puerto Rico are absolutely falling apart, but yet the Department of Education has a $2.4 billion budget. Additional $4.6 billion in federal funding. But don't take my word for it. Take the kids' word for it.
TikToks show bathroom sinks draining straight to the floor, no toilet paper or soap, and stall doors dangling from their hinges. High school students in Puerto Rico using social media and some humor to highlight a serious problem: dilapidated conditions at some of their schools. Often using the phrase jóvenes uniforme completo, poking fun at being told to wear their full student uniforms while their campuses are in some cases quite literally falling apart. Alicia Torres, a senior at Luis F. Crespo High School in the coastal town of Camuy, started the trend this month. Telling NBC News it's not just her school, it's a systemic problem that's been happening for years. More videos followed, other students showing the rundown conditions from their own schools, using humor to demonstrate the issues, like pretending to wash their hands in broken sinks. Alicia says the bathrooms at her school were often locked or in such bad shape her classmates had to leave or wait until they went home to use the bathroom. So how did things end up this way?
So that doesn't piss you off? A joke pisses you off nationwide, but the conditions that our kids have to go to school in every day, motherfucking crickets, right?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Someone who lives in Puerto Rico is telling the truth. Thank you.
Selective hatred. Moral of the story is this: a bad joke still does not qualify Kamala Harris to be president of the United States of America. Even after Sunday's debacle, the president's numbers still go up in the polls. And as someone who actually lives in Puerto Rico, all that hate that you have towards Donald Trump needs to be redirected to the government of Puerto Rico, because at the end of the day, Trump isn't fucking us over. Our government here is. And as always, love you and have a beautiful, beautiful night.
Round of applause, man. Round of applause, man. That was a beautiful video. Beautiful by showing people that Puerto Ricans are not fools. Left-wing media can't fool the Puerto Ricans that live in Puerto Rico. You can't fool them because they know what's going on. The Puerto Ricans up here in America may not understand what they're going through because they live in New York or whatever, or in the States. So I don't really fault y'all for not knowing 100% what's going on. And I don't fault y'all for getting offended by a joke. I don't fault y'all for that. But how the left-wing media is trying to portray it is saying Puerto Ricans was being called trash. But you know I find it weird? Tony made a joke about Puerto Rico, the trash crisis in Puerto Rico, calling not the people of Puerto Rico, he's talking about the island, the trash crisis joke, right? Calling that a floating pile of trash in the ocean, right? But I find it weird that the left-wing media and Democrats are not going mad hard for the actual president calling people trash. Let's take a look at this.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His
what? His what?
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
So this man called Donald Trump supporters garbage. He just offended majority or half the country. And in that pile of garbage are Puerto Ricans. So if you're offended by a comedian making a joke about a trash crisis of Puerto Rico land, not the Puerto Ricans, the Puerto Rico land, but then you turn around and you actually call Puerto Ricans garbage because there was a bunch of Puerto Ricans at a Trump rally because I was there. They even got interviewed after. So you're calling those people garbage. Meanwhile, at the same time, you want the garbage to vote for you or your side. You want the garbage to vote for your side, and you want to be a leader of a nation and leader of garbage. Do you see how childish Joe Biden is? Remember they say you once an old man and you a child twice. Round of applause, man. Round of applause. And I gotta be real. I really feel that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is not really friends. Their team's not really cool. And I kind of think he did this on purpose to sabotage Kamala Harris' campaign. It's just too close. I'm just saying. Because this is far worse than that joke. He insulted people of America that you want to be that you are a president of, and you call those people what? Garbage. Not only that, Hillary Clinton, Miss Delphia Clinton called Trump supporters deplorables. What? Not only that, she called Trump supporters or the rally. It's going to be a Nazi rally. But meanwhile, you want the Nazis vote. Do you understand how wild that sounds? You calling people who go to the Trump rally basically Nazis because you calling him Hitler. But at the same time, you trying to convince these people to vote for you. So by your logic, you want Nazis to vote for you. So therefore you want Hitler's fan base. It don't even make sense. It's childish. And it's kiddie. I always, even my friends, I said it over and over. America is a laughingstock. And this campaign right here is going on. Remind me of that movie, The Campaign, with Will Ferrell and the other guy. This is terrible. So with that being said, man, I ain't gonna be up here much longer, man. I'm about to be up here for a little more. I'm about to be up here for a couple more seconds. Let's count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy
Puerto Rico for Trump. Y nuestro próximo